Well, hello, hello, hello. Starting a couple of minutes late today. Thanks to everyone for being so patient with me. Welcome to today's virtual Art Hive pop-up live stream. In case you don't know me, I'm Mary Cronert, and I'm here on behalf of the Living Room Community Art Studio from our Living Room studio at home. So glad to have you with us here today. Welcome to an hour and a half of just hanging out, making art, chatting with folks from the community, doing what you need to do to take care of yourself today. And let's just see. There we go. Hello, Shelley. Welcome. Good afternoon to you, too. Now, for folks who are familiar with this, you know what to do. You know that you can make art along with me. You can also make whatever kind of art you want to make during the live stream. Also, maybe today you're not feeling so creative. Maybe you just want to do something else instead. Maybe you want to listen to us while you work on homework or fold your laundry or do some baking. Whatever that might be for you, go ahead. Feel free to do it. No judgment here. If you'd like to stay for the whole hour and a half, you're more than welcome to. If you'd like to dip in and out a few minutes here and there, if you need to go, maybe leave a little bit early to run an errand or pick up someone from somewhere, you know what? That's okay too. Do what feels right to you. And hello, Annie. Oh, it's so good to see folks. It's so good. I haven't seen Annie in a long time. How are you doing? Now, you're welcome to also participate in the chat like Shelley and Annie are doing here. You can say hi, you can ask questions, you can share what you're working on if you're like. I always love hearing about what folks are working on at home. What creative projects do you have on the go? What's inspiring you these days? Perhaps you want to share links to other artists in the community who are making a difference in your life. That's okay too. And Shelley says, yeah, eating lunch counts as well. So if you'd like to eat some lunch while you're listening or watching, that's okay too. Self-care is important. Lunch, that's one of the most important things. Eating good food to nourish ourselves throughout this time. It's all good. But yeah, feel free to participate in the chat if you like. Keep us updated about where you're at, what's going on, how you're feeling, how you're doing. And if you don't feel like participating in the chat, that's okay too. So don't feel pressured to jump in and say hi. I trust that you're out there and that you're watching, and I'm so glad that you're here. Ah, how lovely. It's wonderful. I know I wish I was going to say it's wonderful to see your faces too, but I can't see your faces. So I'm just going to have to imagine everyone's faces here. That's one of the interesting tricks about working online in this way. It really gives me this fantastic challenge of imagining everyone that's out there as complexly as I can, just as the wonderful, complicated, beautiful, extraordinary, wonky human beings that we all are. It's lovely to imagine you being out there and listening. And whenever you participate, well, that's just a bonus. Hello, Courtney. Nice to have you here. So let's see. Do we want to dive into some art making today? Oh, look at what other people. Let's see. Before we do that, let's see what other folks are working on. Shelley's sorting art supplies, always a useful thing. And I wonder what everyone else is doing out there. Please feel free to share if you like. Okay. I'm going to. Oh, hey, Nicole. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think I am going to dive in today because I've given myself a very strange kind of project. It's going to start with a watercolor warm-up for sure. So I'll just click on over there and we'll start with a watercolor warm-up and we'll see where it goes. Now, what do I need here? Oh, yeah. I think I'd like some tape, some washi tape or something of that nature. So forgive me as I duck out of frame for just a moment to grab some. There we go. And I'm going to cut this watercolor paper down into a grid. Sometimes you just feel like working in a really organized way, like having structure to spark off your creativity. That's the kind of place where I'm at today. And let's see, Courtney's working on covering notebooks. Excellent. To make a journal. Fantastic. Nicole's working on a doll. Is it a crocheted doll or something different? I know last week you were needle felting, so we'd be excited to see updates on that. And Wendy, hello Wendy. How are you? How's Wendy doing? It's been I was going to say it feels like a long winter, but it hasn't even really begun, has it? So I'm going to mark this off and create a grid. It's one of the beautiful things about having a mat like this. Makes it a little easier to draw straight lines if you're into that kind of thing. There we go. Sorting beads. So there's some art supply sorting going on today. It's a beautiful thing. Sometimes having a clean, organized space is the key to opening up the creativity in our minds, yeah? At least it is for me. I try and take on a little bit every week because sometimes it's overwhelming to try to do everything at once. And sorting beads is a beautiful thing because otherwise you get stuck with this. Well, you know what? This is just the living room. If anyone remembers, we had a bead section that was, folks who are familiar with the living room, how would you describe the bead section? I'll throw that question over to you. We had lots of beads, no shortage of beads. I know we had a drawer that was like filled with seed beads, thousands of seed beads. We tried to keep them organized. We tried to sort them by color. Every once in a while, a student or a volunteer would get really excited about doing that as a beautiful service to the living room. But there's a lot of beads, a lot of beads. And so Nicole's saying, the doll is crocheted. You finished your dog last week. Oh, also Rosemary says hi. Hello, Rosemary. Wherever you might be, I say hello to you too. Rosemary, who is, I think it's fair to say, responsible for the needle felting trend that was ignited at the living room and has since been reignited as well as well, maybe not ignited. Maybe that's too big a move. But I know a few folks out there tried needle felting after what should I say, experimented with it one time on the Art Hive. Hey, Laura. And Laura, oh, so excellent. So Laura saying, hi, I kind of sorted my basement coffee art table, sorted beach pottery to finally make something. Excellent. So when you say beach pottery, Laura, do you mean like shards of kind of crockery or old like broken dishes and things in China that might have washed up on the lake? I know there's quite a few folks out there who collect that kind of, beach pottery would be a great way of describing it if that is. And you have an excellent eye for finding the most exquisite finds. And let's see. So if you're interested in sharing what you're working on, like Laura, I am very excited to learn what you're going to do with that beach pottery. If you'd like to share, feel free. And what am I going to try and do here? I don't know. I'm going to wing this. This might be a wonky grid. We'll find out. I should have used the grid on the bottom to help me with this part, shouldn't I have? I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to adjust it if I need to by eye. No perfection allowed, as we used to say at the living room. And sometimes when I measure properly, it doesn't feel right. I don't know if anyone else has ever had that experience. Oh, Kim. Oh, so lovely to see you, Kim. Welcome. Kim says, just popped in between clients. So nice to see my face. Oh, it's so nice to imagine your face, Kim. Thanks for being out there and being such a wonderful support to folks. You're an amazing human being. I'm so happy to know you. I'm so lucky to know so many incredibly gifted people. Not everyone has exactly the same gifts, but on the whole, everyone uses their gifts in such extraordinary ways to support others, whether it's through art or through food, nurturing, just being there to connect people. Let's adjust that a tiny bit. Boop, 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 boop. And goodness knows, in days like these, it's good to have someone you can connect with or look out for, reach out to in those moments. It doesn't have to be in a big way either. I chatted with one of our old placement students a couple of weeks ago for an Instagram chat, Daniel, and such a great reminder to just, he invited everyone to check in with someone. Reminded us that not everyone is able to talk about how they might be struggling. Maybe not everyone's aware that they're struggling, but just reaching out to check in with someone, sending them a text or calling them on the phone can be a really beautiful, beautiful thing. Reminding them that they matter, and if they do need some extra support, you can be there and help them connect with it if necessary. And let's see. Laura saying, oh, interesting. So a great description of beach pottery, if you were like me and you weren't quite sure what it was. Worn on the lake bottom for decades and found over the last few years. So this is, I guess, yesterday's, well, when I say yesterday, I suppose trash from a long time ago. Perhaps bits and pieces that were thrown away or got lost in China, crockery that found its way into the lake somehow, or maybe found its way from somewhere else into our lake. It's a beautiful thing. I love that. Things that have been smoothed out by water. Water is such a powerful thing, such an important thing. And Nicole says, speaking of the beach, my friend took the beach gargoyle I mentioned last week home. So, update, folks. If you were following last week's live stream, you learned about the beach gargoyle. I'm afraid to say I became a little obsessed with it. So this is a friend of Nicole's who, on her weekly searches for beach glass and stones and things like that, and hagstones, as we were talking about with some of our placement students, discovered this kind of gargoyle-esque figure, masonry maybe plaster, probably masonry of some kind, that had just washed up, and it would appear in different places over the beach over time. She would take pictures of it, and I'm so glad that she took it home, because this seems like a magical find. It seems like a find that Laura would discover on the beach, if you don't mind me saying. So I'm so glad your friend took it home. Now we can learn more about the gargoyle. We can discover perhaps the story behind why the gargoyle was in the lake. There is a story there. There's something there. I don't know what, but something. And Courtney says, oh, lovely, lovely. Courtney says, I want to add a picture of what I'm working on. How do I do that? So it could be something that some folks have trouble uploading pictures in the chat during the live stream. If that's something that you struggle, if you can't see an icon in the bottom of the comment section where you're typing, that's like a little camera, you might want to wait until after, when we do our show and tell sort of part of the day. I'll make a separate post with the picture of what I've been working on, and you can then add a picture of what you've been working on too. So you can snap a picture with your phone. Sometimes that's the easiest way for folks to do it if you're lucky enough to have a phone. If not, we might have to troubleshoot with the community to see how you can upload a picture. There's probably an option to upload a picture too on your computer from a file you might have there. But if you have a phone, then you can update it really easily through the Facebook app that might be on your phone. Does that help? Let me know if that helps. And if anyone from the community has other suggestions about what to do or how to do that a little more easily than what I've described, please feel free to share. Yes, and Marta saying, our wonderful student Marta is going to figure out how to upload photos. So Marta is one of our amazing placement students that will be with us for the next few months from Ontario Tech U. They're also going to be starting a new activity that's going to take place every Monday from here on out. So Monday mornings, usually, it'll be a creative spark, an invitation to the community to share the different kinds of things that inspire you, that help you create, that helped you discover your inner artist, as she discovers her inner artist along the way. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be introducing the activity this Monday. But if anyone has any questions for Marta, maybe, if you want to learn a little bit more about it right now, feel free to ask, because Marta is probably the best one to explain this activity. And Danielle, another student who I think might be joining us a little bit later, Danielle will be working on an activity involving something called comfort characters. So if anyone out there is familiar with comfort characters, it was a new thing to me, but I love the idea of it. So again, next Thursday, Danielle will be on our Facebook page to explain this to you a little more directly, in a little more detail. But every week, Danielle will be bringing you an activity on Thursday that has to do with the characters in, it could be books, movies, video games, different forms of media, characters that inspire you in some way or help boost something in yourself. So that could be so many different kinds of things, so many different themes, and so many of us love turning to books and film and TV and video games for that inspiration, especially in times like this when we can't connect with other folks in person for that inspiration. And Jay, hello. Oh, Jay, great to see you too. Thanks for being out there. Oh, Liam and Nona. Liam and Nona, hello to you too. So good to know you're out there. What are you folks working on today? I know you're always so creative over there. You're always so creative. It would surprise me if there wasn't something exciting. Something exciting that you were working on. Or maybe not exciting. Maybe just something nice. And let's say Nicole says, interesting. So people were sending Nicole the link to the Bernie doll pattern that's been going around. So, oh, wow. So Nicole made her very own interpretation of it. And Nicole's has been sitting on random things in your house, kind of like Bernie on a shelf kind of idea. That's not such a bad inspiration, actually, to have that as a reminder of the wonderful humanness that we all possess. Okay. And as Laura was saying, I think Laura wants to see some pictures, some updates on the Gargoyle as well when your friend has a chance. But I think folks would also love to see Bernie, your Bernie doll, and how Bernie's been helping out around the house. Yeah, it's been a very interesting few weeks. Very interesting few weeks. And Marta, if you want to add anything else on about the activity you're going to be hosting on Mondays, please feel free. I know you're going to be diving in more detail this Monday, so today's not the right time. That's totally okay. And Jay saying the kids are just finishing up with their daily classes. Oh, interesting. Lately, our medium has been a lot of Legos. Tonight is art night with brownies. Oh, fantastic. I was a brownie for a little while. I don't know if I was a very, well, no, I was going to say I wasn't a very good brownie, but I think I was a fine brownie. All I know is then when we had the opportunity to fly up, I didn't fly up to Girl Guides. I did the flying up thing, but didn't make it to Girl Guides. But it's a fantastic resource that is out there. And I know so many people whose lives were truly changed for the better because of things like Girl Guides and brownies. It helped them connect with people that they wouldn't have otherwise had opportunities to connect with and learn things that they wouldn't have otherwise learned, or have learned, rather. Okay, so we have Shelly asking Marta what time the group is on Mondays. So actually, we can turn this over to community as well, because we were thinking, Marta, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we were thinking that it would happen around either at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. If folks have a preference for what time you'd like an activity to start, let us know. And at first, it will not be a live stream activity. We're looking at more of kind of an activity where you can share, you can post and just type in your comments and responses, and it will evolve from that point on. Oh, my camera's having a little fun focusing today, so I apologize if it keeps on doing that weird thing. Let me know. It might be the tape that's triggering it. Maybe it just can't handle the tape design. Funny how that happens sometimes. So 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. on Mondays. Let me know what you think, folks. Oh, yeah, and Shelly, of course, loved being a brownie leader and a Girl Guide leader and a beaver leader. Wow. There's, again, what a giving community we have. giving of their time, sharing of their lives and their hearts with others. And if you're just tuning in now, welcome. I'm just doing a little bit of a watercolor warm-up. It's been a long time, well, it feels like a long time since I've done some watercolor doodling with you folks. And I always feel so relaxed and grounded after I do one of these. It's kind of warming up a little bit too for the next activity, which is painting cookies. I've never done that before. I'm just going to try it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Just going to experiment. And let's see. Jay saying, interesting. So Jay, in response to Shelley, I think did the same. Oh no, you're talking to me. So yes, another brownie. I was going to say dropout, but that's not right, is it? 2 years as a brownie and then stopped. But now Jay has been a leader for 6 years. So something called out to you. We respond to that calling. It's not the same for everyone, but I think when it comes to giving back to the community and helping others connect, there's something in each one of us that is drawn to being of service, drawn to being with other people, especially when we can't be with other people, as right now. There's lots of different ways to give back. Lots of different ways. And Laura, I remember Laura was talking about, and Laura, we have to reschedule our Instagram artist chat. Absolutely. I'll be connecting with you about that to figure out a way to do it. But Laura, when we were doing our pre-interview, reminded me of another way that we can still give back for those of you who can. Like right now, there is a big need, a demand for blood donors to step forward. And Laura when I talked to her, had just donated blood. And that's, I think, something that's easy to forget during times like this. But there are still things we can do to be of service that will, in cases like that, could save someone's life. It's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing. So thank you to everyone out there who's giving back in all the ways, whether you're a guide leader, you're donating blood, you're helping out in other ways. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And well, yeah, Jay's been a leader with daughters with your, let's see. A leader and guide and brownies for 2 years, a guide leader for 6 years. And this guide unit is guides, pathfinders, rangers all together. Oh, that's lovely. Lovely, lovely. And Marta, so coming back to the question of when this activity on Mondays will be, Marta is saying yes. Oh, thinking of either a 9 a.m. start to your day kind of post. What do you think about that? Is there a time that you'd all prefer? So folks, would you prefer to start off your day on Mondays with a post from Marta, an activity to engage in or to inspire you? I think there's lots of potential there for something good. So feel free to let Marta know what time you'd like the activity to start. We'll keep tabs. We'll keep an eye out on it. I don't know how to do a Facebook survey, but maybe we can even do something like that to figure it out. Yeah. And yeah, for folks who are working with guides, Shelley was saying, Shelley was a leader to all of those categories for 2 years, very busy, but loved every minute. I can imagine it's very busy. I can only imagine. And Jay just acknowledging how different it is having to connect with kids virtually. Yeah, we do what we can, though. We get resourceful and we figure it out. We figure out a way to move forward. Oh, interesting. Okay. So Shelley, in response to Marta, it looks like Shelley says 10 or 11 a.m., but I can try to do it at 9 a.m. So 10 a.m. sounds like, let us know, folks, if you're thinking the same thing. Is 10 a.m. just a little easier for folks? Maybe you've started your day already. You've gotten all the things you need to do right away out of the way. If that's the case, let us know and we can start the activity at 10 a.m. And that gives us a chance to wake up too, doesn't it, Marta? Speaking of waking up, I think I have to have some coffee. Lovely. I woke up today with a bit of a migraine. So I couldn't jump on to the computer to answer emails and do that kind of thing right away, as I normally would. As a result, I decided to bake. I was thinking about what I wanted to do today, and I thought, I want to bake something, and I want to get creative with baking. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see right over here, I have this tray of cookies that I've glazed with some simple royal icing that I made. And yeah, I'm going to give it a go decorating them afterwards. Not with paint, with food coloring, edible paint. Because I know we talk a lot about on here about, safety first. Don't eat your art materials. Well, today, maybe I can. But it was definitely nice when I recognized that I had that headache to give myself the gift of not doing the thing I normally do. Just permission to change things up and do what felt right. And let's see, Courtney says, oh, excellent. Courtney is making a cookbook to fundraise for the food bank of your church, and I would love for you to send your favorite recipes to It Starts With a Smile 4413 at gmail.com. So folks, I love a good community cookbook. I love it. Maybe I'll send the cookie recipe that I'm using today to that cookbook, Courtney. And what a great thing to fundraise for. All the food banks everywhere. I'm going to just go out on a limb here and assume everywhere, no matter where you're living in the world right now, are in need of support. And again, not only just food, but if folks have any cold weather gear that you don't need anymore, please consider donating it to a local shelter or a local relief agency that can help connect people with those resources that they need. Like for us, I know the Backdoor Mission would be a great resource to think of, connecting with. They have such excellent connections in the community, and they really do help so many people and provide wonderful support in many different ways, to families, individuals, so many people. And as the weather's getting colder out there, the cold weather clothing, even things like socks, underwear, boots. Maybe you're looking at a pair of boots and thinking, oh, they're at the end of their life, but there might be someone out there who could actually get a lot more life out of them. So please, consider dropping it by. And if they can't use it, or if it's not the right kind of thing, don't worry about it. They can take care of it for you usually, but it's always a good thing to run it by them first before you throw it away or take it to Value Village. So Courtney, that's an amazing thing. If you can remember in the show and tell post we do afterwards, can you revisit that post and add that link in there as a comment again, so that we can just double down on that and get a lot of attention on that wonderful project that you're working on? That's amazing. See, there's so many different things we can do. Dream big, start small. You never know whose life you might make a difference in. And Nicole says, I bought a scout blanket for my dad for Christmas. Oh, for a Christmas present. And I sewed all of his badges on it. Oh, Nicole. What a beautiful gift. That's lovely. I would have loved to have seen his face when he opened that up. I bet he loved it. And Shelley says, I have a scout blanket, but I don't know how to sew. You have some badges for brownies and guides and beavers too. So you don't know how to hand sew. Well, maybe that's something we can remedy here. Maybe we can do some sewing. Hand sewing is such a lovely skill to have in your toolkit. Practical, but it's also fun. And once you feel comfortable doing it, it's one of those things you just think, well, why didn't I do this before? Requires some patience. I know as I'm getting older, and if you're like me and you have some chronic pain in your hand, sometimes it can get a little harder to hold needles, but they even have different kinds of needles you can use, different ways of making that kind of fine sewing, hand sewing easier for folks who have less agility or a little more pain. So there's lots of options out there. Never too late to learn how to hand sew. And Marta, excellent. Thanks, Marta, for being on that. Marta's saying we'll try to post between 10 and 11 a.m. So we'll get the timing right so everyone can tune in and you'll know it'll be there for you. And when you're waking up on your Monday and you're beginning to get creative or thinking about what will happen, but not quite feel like doing anything major, you can always tune in, see if it inspires you, and just contribute a little bit, just a little bit to warm you up into your week and to help set things off on the right foot. And Courtney, oh, Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Hello, crafty people. Lisa says, so great to have you here, Lisa. Welcome to the live stream. And send in hugs to Laura Ann Brown. Laura Ann Brown, someone definitely worthy of hugs in my book. All the hugs, all the hugs. And you know what? While we're at it, hugs to anyone out there who might want or need them. Virtual hugs, sending them your way. Because these are definitely interesting, strange times. And if you're joining the live stream now, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've never participated before, this is it. We just chat, we make art. If you feel like it, you can talk and chat with folks in the comment thread, or you can just listen and do whatever you need to do. You can watch, not watch. You can make art along with me. You can not make art if you don't want to. Maybe you have something else really important that you want to do. That is okay. We're here just to provide a little bit of community connection, a little bit of community warmth, maybe some silliness if you need it, maybe some inspiration, depending on what you need. And if you have things you're working on or things you'd like to share or spotlight, like Courtney's community cookbook, feel free to comment in the post and let us know. Share a link so that we can spread the love and draw people's attention to all the good things that are happening out there in our communities. Because Courtney's saying the cookbooks will be given to people who are, oh, excellent. So another layer to the goodness. The cookbooks will be given to people who are in transition from homelessness to living indoors. Oh, so street involved, like, wow, sort of sleeping rough home. Oh, interesting. And Courtney wants them to have this so they can have recipes of comfort food. So that is really, really useful information to have. It might impact the kind of recipes people contribute, because I know, for those of you who don't know, I'm trained as an art therapist, and for many years working here, I was working as an art therapist with Cornerstone, which is one of the crisis shelters in the city. And one of the things I would hear from folks who were making that transition from oftentimes sleeping rough, to being housed again, and, you know, housing in Oshawa, I can't speak for other places, but it can be a challenge. It can be an enormous challenge. And when you do finally find a place, finally have a roof over your head, you don't always have the same kind of resources you used to have or were used to having before. Some folks just have a microwave, and that might be the only cooking device they have. So thinking of recipes that are simple, that can use foods that are kind of like pantry stock, like things that maybe won't go bad. These are all really useful things to think about. Thank you, Courtney. I'm going to think of some new recipes that I can offer for really yummy food that can be made with simple things that don't always require a fancy oven or things like that. And let's see. Wendy. So 10 a.m. from Wendy as well. Courtney says 10 a.m. Marta too. So 10 a.m. seems to be the time when folks are ready to jump into their day. And lovely. Shelley saying, I hope everyone is healthy and safe. And what a wonderful reminder, Shelley, again, for folks who are out there hanging out with us today, making art or not making art, wherever you might be. We hope you're safe. We hope you're healthy. We hope all your loved ones are safe and healthy. And just want to take a moment to honor everything that everyone is doing to take care of themselves during this time, because it's not easy to take care of yourself sometimes. But we're doing it. And if you're doing it, you're doing your best. That's something to really honor. So thank you. And let's see. Excellent. Laura is saying, I need to sew my daughter's last bunch of badges from guides, then figure out how to display her sashes. She was a Spark, Brownie, and guide, but didn't go back after the shutdown last spring. Oh, that's too bad. Well, you know what? There might be opportunities in the future. You never know. You never know. And maybe there'll be another organization to join. I know that there are some exciting new kind of organizations happening out there. There's an organization in the States that I really love. I would love for it to come here. I think it's called the Monarch Butterflies, I think. If folks know what I'm talking about, give a shout out. And that's for young women of color. Such an extraordinary group, and they focus on social justice issues and different, like, sort of awareness raising pieces in their communities. that don't often get a spotlight put upon them. I know there's also Roots and Shoots, which is Jane Goodall's organization. There are branches everywhere, and I'm pretty sure there's a branch of Roots and Shoots in Durham region, which focuses on environmental work and how youth who can become more engaged citizens in taking care of our planet. So there's a lot of other exciting groups out there. Maybe, who knows, maybe one of those will begin to appeal to Emily. But it's also okay if Emily doesn't want to do anything. That's kind of like what I did. I think I turned out okay. And let's see, other things that were being done, all the good things being done out there in the community. Shelley saying we were making positive pictures for all the local nursing homes. Oh, wow, but our pastor got sick, and so I have several pictures left to give away. So, again, other wonderful, wonderful events and practices that we're beginning to focus on and take advantage of. I'm so sorry that your pastor became sick, Shelley. That's a scary thing to hear these days, isn't it? But I wonder if there's another way we can distribute those pictures. I wonder. There's a really cool app called SwapBot. Has anyone out there heard of it? We've been looking at it. The Living Room's been looking at it to consider if we want to do a snail mail project with one another. And it's a platform where you upload your personal information and then so people can have access to it, but in very structured, safe ways, and mail you things. And you can mail things to other people, and you can join different kind of creative swaps that are happening out there in the world. There's got to be a way. And that art is always useful. So even if the art doesn't get distributed right now, it might get distributed in the future. Oh, and kids recipes too, Courtney. Thank you. And just revisiting the things that our communities are in need of right now. Annie Rosmer Bell with another great reminder about feminine hygiene products. Always needed, right? And Courtney saying First Light Foundation is another place you can donate all those things to. Clothing, winter wear, hygiene products of all kinds, actually. Feminine hygiene products definitely. But even simple things that, we might take for granted, that we have toothpaste, dental floss, deodorant, lots of things like that. But I know during the winter weather, socks, warm socks. Folks who are out there go through socks very, very quickly. And a lot of the times, a lot of their days are spent walking around. So they also go through boots and shoes very, very quickly. Oh, lots. Oh, so wow, so much wonderful chat happening today. Forgive me for being behind. And let's see. So again, lovely suggestions. Laura's mentioning to Nicole a brownie blanket you can buy online to sew badges on there. And Lisa says, oh, excellent. So Lisa, as a first-time listener today, first time I'm mostly listening since my craft is a bit far from the computer, but I'm having a break. I've been sewing masks and scrub caps since March and April, but it's wound down. Thank you, Lisa, for doing that and being of service to our community in that extraordinary way. I know that in the beginning there was this big push and call for that kind of help, that kind of support. If you're still enjoying making masks, I know I've got to make a few masks. I'm having a hankering to make some new ones myself. You might want to consider talking to some of the agencies like the Backdoor Mission and things like that, who see people on a daily basis from the community who may not have access to clean masks themselves. So I know that some of these agencies have the capacity to wash and sanitize their reusable masks. So if you are living near somewhere with a crisis like center that works with community, folks who perhaps are a little more, marginalized, they might be in need of masks as well. So if you're enjoying it, if you want to take a break from mask making, I totally get that too. But for anyone out there who has extra things like that, it's always worth checking in. Always worth checking in. But welcome, Lisa. So great to have you here. And welcome to anyone else who's listening for the first time too. Oh, lovely. So we're having people talking about art therapy, and Shelley mentioning doing art therapy before you were able to do written journals. Starting with images before the words come can be a really powerful thing. You're absolutely right. Oh, interesting. So Shelley sharing something that I'm not quite familiar with, but I'm excited to learn more about. Perhaps folks can fill me in about, is it Camp Samak? So Camp Samak was sold and it will become a nature self-care spa with camping and different workshops happening there. Is it, you wrote Camp Adamak, which might also be a camp that exists that I'm not familiar with. There's a lot of things I don't know. But it could also be Camp Samak. Interesting news. See, this is the kind of thing that might happen in the studio. We'd be updated about the news in the community. A little bit of gossip sometimes, a little bit of pulling the weeds, a little bit of community knowledge being shared. Good old-fashioned grapevine way. Lovely. Okay, so again, like sending Courtney, we'll put a post up about the cookbook so you can share and people can send recipes. And I imagine you'll have a wonderful response. And not only recipes, but recipes for art things, Courtney's saying, like slime. Yeah, absolutely. Slime counts. There's recipes for art things that are so fabulous. Oh, lovely. And Shelley again, we're hearing from folks like Shelley and, oh, wow. Them just putting together kits and things like that for shelters. If you're unsure what to send or what they might have too much of, it never hurts to give them a call and ask also. So if you're a little bit worried or you don't want to go out or make things or purchase things, it can never hurt to send them a little email. Just ask. When in doubt, just ask. And Nicole's doing something lovely as well, connecting with your aunt's mother who's in a retirement home in the States. She can't knit anymore, so I sent her photos of what you make. What a lovely thing to do. What a lovely thing to do for the community. Again, it doesn't have to be a lot. And, we have this virtual connection. That's a pretty powerful thing. It can allow us to connect with people that maybe we don't often connect with in normal times. Offer that support, check in a little bit more. And photos are lovely. Everyone can enjoy a photo. How beautiful, Nicole. How beautiful. And Lisa says, oh, wow, wowzers. So Lisa says, I'm in Oshawa. I have another 100 or so ready. I think I might see if they want them. So the masks that you're making, fantastic. May see if they want them at the new trailer at Midtown instead of dropping them off at UPS for Canada Sews. Yeah, the trailer at Midtown might be a place. I'm not sure who oversees that trailer. I know that they might need masks because I oftentimes see a lot of people there not wearing masks. So that might be a perfect resource. But again, when in doubt, check in with like some of the shelters. The back door. The reason I keep mentioning back door as well is because the back door is working under an umbrella right now, called Mission United. And it's kind of become a hub for community services. So it's not just the Backdoor Mission that makes, that is there. There's also folks from Pinewood. There are people from Lakeshore, Lake Ridge Health who are there. They have people from the AIDS Committee of Durham Region working there. They have all these fantastic resources that are acting as little tiny hubs within the Backdoor Mission space that the United Church there has allowed them to kind of take over in a beautiful way since they aren't using it for services at the moment. And it's become a remarkable resource for so many different people out there. So that, if you're wondering why I keep talking about the Backdoor Mission and Mission United, that's why, because it's kind of like a one-stop shop for so many folks out there in the community. And there's lovely people that are working there right now. We love them. Yep, and First Light Foundation, again, excellent. And Shelley correcting me, excellent. Camp Adamak, not Samak. So that's excellent. I got to learn about Camp Adamak. I wasn't aware of them before. Now, folks, let me know, has the image frozen or are we still okay with that? No? Okay, good. It looked like it was frozen for a second there. See, it always happens. I get really excited, super excited about working on a project. And then before I know it, my warm-up becomes the entire project that I'm doing. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. It's just something about watercolor that I love. It helps ground me. Something about the fluid nature of it, maybe. I like how I have to surrender control a little bit, but I still get to shape things as I go. So, okay, a little bit. Oh, that's good. Oh, well, thank you, Lisa. So it was frozen for a bit, but it looks like maybe it's unfrozen. Folks can still hear me. That's good. Lisa says, loving the color transition between blocks. I like it too. And I think there's something about just giving it structure with that tape that helps as well. Again, a little structure, a little fluidity, a little control, a little surrender of control. Sometimes it's exactly what I need. And Momo saying, just passing to say hi. Oh, and that it looks awesome, Mary. Well, thank you, Momo. And looking through the window. Love it. Oh, I hadn't considered that it is like a window. I hadn't thought of that before, and now I do. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Like a window of light and color. And how's it going in Montreal, Momo? I know you might have to run, but hoping everyone in Montreal is doing fine and feeling as good can be out there. Sending lots of love your way. If folks are interested, if you like hanging out here with us, I have to say there are so many amazing virtual hives happening out there from, I think, all over Canada, the States. There's some in Europe as well. If anyone is interested in joining in one of the other Art Hive experiences, one of the other virtual Art Hive experiences, feel free to connect online. You can go to www.arthives.org. I know I don't need to say the www. It's arthives.org, and you can look up all the different art hives that are there and see which ones are offering virtual art hive opportunities. And Momo, I think you have a birthday coming up too, don't you? So happy birthday, Momo. Happy almost birthday. And as long as I'm wishing Momo a happy birthday to anyone else who's either had a birthday recently or has a birthday coming up. Why not? And Momo says, all good in Montreal, enjoying the snow and the cold days. Yes, we here in Oshawa had a blast of winter the other day. Quite nice in a strange way, to see a normal kind of winter day happening for once. And again, another reminder, a lovely count your blessings kind of moment, that you don't have to be out in that weather all the time. It's one of those things that's really lovely to experience from inside a window, looking out. The snow is a nice reminder to me. I think I need the seasonal change. I need the snow to remind me to slow down, that it's okay to slow down. The snow can remind me it's okay to take care of myself, to just kind of go inside myself a little bit when I need to take that moment, that time to reflect. The sun and the warmth always makes me feel like I can be out there. I should be out there and enjoying the sun and enjoying the warmth. But the winter weather, we need that too. We need that reminder that it's okay to step back. It's okay. I think there was a wonderful, Momo posted something too, I think, a few on their page about, I'll have to dig it out, something along those lines, embracing the suggestions of the season, being in tune with that, allowing it to inform us and how we take care of ourselves and manage our time, manage our days. If you can, it's a beautiful thing to give yourself that time. I realize not everyone can. All right. So I think for now that might be it. And let's see, on the theme of birthdays and things like that, Nicole's saying, I felt very old yesterday. I mentioned the paint program for a computer to a 16-year-old, and she had no idea what I was talking about. Yeah, when you there's definitely a shift in all of our lives, isn't there? And those realizations when we're talking to young people and things that were common to us are still common to us. They kind of look at you with that sense of, what? What are you talking about? Oh, and Momo says, Momo's birthday is on the 29th. And excellent. You are all invited, Momo says, to celebrate with me on a Facebook live concert with a wonderful singer-songwriter from Costa Rica. He will sing some of my favorite songs, Momo's favorite songs from the rock and Spanish era, 80s and 90s. Oh, what a fabulous invitation, Momo. Thank you. So, folks, you heard it here. We're all invited to a party. When's the last time that you went to a party? How wonderful, Momo. Thank you so much. That is so generous of you to share that with everyone. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and come by. It sounds beautiful. And just on that, yeah, mentioning things to younger people and having that look, that sort of, what are you talking about? Look back. Momo says it happens to Momo all the time as well. So you are not alone, Nicole. I just registered for a Spotify account, a free one, for the first time ever. Yeah, all new to me. And I know Spotify is not new, but it feels completely new to this person here. I still like making mixtapes. So peeling this tape off. Oh ho ho. Got a little stuck on there. Let's see if I can pull it off from this side. Happy accidents. Maybe it wanted to happen. Maybe that needed to happen. Come on. So the tape did its job a little too well there. And Momo sharing the Facebook page of the singer who will be the musician who will be there. Jose Giacomo. Am I pronouncing that right, Momo? So Friday at 9 p.m. Montreal time for 2 hours of soft rock unplugged on Momo's, is it Momo? Oh, so it's on the Facebook page of Jose Giacomo. So everyone, or Giacomo? I don't know. Go to that Facebook page, copy paste, visit, see where it's at, and see for yourself. Sounds like a lovely, lovely time. Oh my goodness. Free concerts are the best. I know there's a music hive that happens on Fridays, I believe, that one of our Facebook friends, Peter, runs. We just had an Instagram artist chat with someone who played a song for us live, and I've forgotten just how beautiful, how moving it is to hear someone, to have someone perform for you live. We can't be there in person, but it's still so powerful. So definitely tune in this Friday for birthday, Momo birthday. Excellent, thank you. So there's that. Let's see what we got going on there. See if that's, so what do you think, folks? There's my simple watercolor window page. What I might do with these pieces is cut them into smaller squares as well. I feel drawn to having pieces of things that I can play with. I'm not quite sure why. Sometimes I just have a hankering for that kind of thing. So I might trim these down into smaller squares and maybe use them as cards or gift tags. Not quite sure. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go. Let's see. Now on to the next project. So I'll put this aside. Put that aside to finish drawing. And yeah, time for cookies. So as I was mentioning, for folks who are just tuning in now and wondering what's happening now, has this turned into a baking show? I do love to bake, and this is a great vegan cookie, a vegan sugar cookie recipe that I found, I believe, on the website for Nora Cooks. I can post the recipe after. I better move those watercolors in case I feel tempted to use them. But I just had this, this morning I woke up, I've had a migraine for the past week, and I couldn't I couldn't do the things I normally do on a morning. I go to my computer, I do my emails, I post things, all of those things. It was just really difficult to do. So I gave myself a break. I gave myself permission to do something else, and just that had nothing to do with screens at all. And what that was it turned into baking. And I just thought, I want to paint cookies today. I remember seeing something, and I will share the recipe indeed. And it was something, I think a post, where was the post? It might have been a New York Times recipe, a Christmas cookie kind of recipe that they had. And there was a baker in New York who did this really lovely, really simple abstract painting. I'll find that and I'll post it as well. It's not the holidays anymore, but cookies. You don't need a holiday to have cookies, right? You just don't need that. You can have cookies whenever. And I wanted to try it for such a long time. So for this, I'm going to choose a clean paintbrush. One that I know is clean. Oh, let's see. Oh, that one? No. That one. Yeah. Something simple that I don't use for other things. I believe that's got a little bit of fuzz won't hurt me. Yes, a little bit of fuzz and a little bit of cat hair. I'm used to it right now. It goes into all my baking. Just be forewarned if you ever receive a cookie present from me. There might be a little bit of cat hair in there. Oh, hey, I have coffee. Mama says, just need coffee. There you go. So this, the painting on cookies, I know there are lots of different ways to decorate cookies. Usually when I bake, I'm super impatient and I don't spend a lot of time icing things. I just want something yummy that I can have right now. And because migraine, because self-compassion, because winter, because Courtney, comfort food, because of all of these things, I thought cookies, and why not? Why not try decorating them in a watercolor kind of way? So I have never done this before, ever. This could be a complete failure. Could be. I don't know. I'm just going to give it a go. I have some peppermint extract here, and I have some coconut extract, and I'm going to use that as a base to kind of dilute the paints that I'm using, which are food coloring kind of pastes. And Lisa says, cat hair with cookies is just extra love. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. It's good to know that I'm not alone. I think so too. So to start, and again, these are like food coloring, the kind of food coloring that I've had in the cupboard for a long, long time. I don't know if anyone else out there is like similar to me. You might have things and you think you're going to use them every day, but then you don't. This kind of paste is that for me. I'm just going to mix that in to that extract. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the paste and mix it into the food, to the extract rather. And you can see it's really gummy and gel-like. I imagine when it's freshly opened, it's not so jelly-like. But here we go. So let's try that. I do love that color, that beautiful, bold, bright color. So let me just put that right there for a moment. And I'm realizing I don't have any clean water to wash my paintbrushes with after I've used the food coloring. I only have my old actual paint water. So I might have to jump up and run out and grab some water and come back when I want to change colors. Live stream. Okay. So let's just do this. And I think it's dry. Yeah, I put a glaze on them, a little sort of icing glaze, but I'm not going to be too heavy-handed with this. I'm just going to play. I'm so excited. I've never done this before. All right. What happens when I do this? Oh, lovely. And I just want to kind of play the same way I did with the actual watercolors. And just doodle. But because they're squares and kind of that mosaic effect, I can just run the colors over. Oh, let's see a little more linty cat hair. The dangers of bringing your baking into other parts of your house. Oh, Barb. Oh, hello, Barb. And oh, Nicole there too. Missing that comment from Nicole. Recently been watching the the show Alf, and cat hair cookies sound like something he'd enjoy. Note to self: maybe I'll reach out to. I don't even know if there's still a production team for Alf. There must be a fan club somewhere. And Barb says, "Hello, everyone. Best wishes and warm January hugs to all of you. You will. Oh, excellent. Barb says, I will love Spotify. Use some aromatherapy along with one of the meditations on Spotify, and hopefully that helps with the headaches." Barb, thank you. I forgot that. I mean, that's another wonderful, lovely thing about Spotify. They have podcasts and they have meditations now, all sorts of different things like that. It's not just music. Um, I have to say, my sister works in the music industry, and I have so many friends who are musicians. The only thing I'll say to anyone out there who uses Spotify: musicians make so little money from every time their song is played. It takes millions of plays to generate income for an artist who hosts their music on Spotify. So, just a reminder to folks: if you love what you're listening to, do try and, if you can, do try and actually support the artist by purchasing their albums and putting money in their pockets so they can make more beautiful music for you. Because as wonderful as Spotify is, I do know, I know that it can be a little frustrating for a lot of artists out there. Now I'm painting this and it looks a little bit like blue cheese. I don't know why. As I'm a vegan, it's just stirring up that blue cheese vibe for me. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm having so much fun. Definitely, I recommend this. If you want to try, if you don't have any canvases on hand, you're looking to try something different. Maybe you've got too much art in your household and you're thinking, I just have no more wall space for art. Try painting some cookies. Why not? And again, usually we're reminding folks to, safety first, don't eat your art materials. But these ones, I can eat them. This is exciting. And I know Anthony has been asking me for the last hour, because I made these this morning. He's been staring at the cookies on the drying rack saying, can I have one? Can I have one? Can I have one? So finally he can have one. Oh, this is lovely. Again, it's a lovely reminder to everyone out there: no perfection allowed, as you see. I feel entirely comfortable modeling that for you. It's really just about play and process. And as Barb was mentioning, that feeling, that idea of meditation, right? There are actual meditations you can do, breathing meditations, spoken meditations. There's also art meditations. And for me, and I know a lot of the folks who are listening out there now, art can create that similar experience. And it's a little more active as meditations go, but it can have that same impact. Calming, soothing, clarifying, slowing down. Connecting. And of course, I am getting a little aromatherapy from this as well with the peppermint extract, which was something I hadn't thought about. And for me, peppermint is something that does help my migraine. So for any other headache sufferers out there, I don't know if scent is something that you find useful, but for me, sometimes it can be. If you'd asked me a year ago if I'd be hanging out online painting cookies with the community, I don't know. I don't know what I would have, how I would have responded. And while we're on the subject, yes. Oh, excellent. So Shelley's pointing out too, there's a meditation program on Netflix too. Shelley, what program is that? Do you know what it's called? Can you add it into the chat? And peppermint tea, Shelley, absolutely. Peppermint tea is something I love. Will never say no to a cup of peppermint tea. And in fact, after this live stream, I might go have one. I had my coffee, which is lovely. And sometimes, oddly, coffee is one of those things that actually can help when I have a migraine if I catch it at the right time. Can't have a lot of it, but it can be one of those things that my body says yes to. But I think afterwards I'm going to return to peppermint tea. Thanks for the suggestion, Shell. I just called you Shell. Do people call you Shell, Shelley? And again, yeah, while we're on it, if other folks have lovely suggestions of things you do to help relax, or things that you find meditative or mindful, things that you do, let me know. Share them here in the links as we're wrapping up, as we're beginning to come to a close. Now, since I don't have water here, maybe I'll move on to green. So in my next bowl here, I'm just going to add a little peppermint extract. I'm going to add some yellow into this. I don't want to get blue into the thing, so I'm going to use the other end. I'm going to use the other end of my paintbrush. I'm going to swirl that in there. Come on. Oh, hey, Prin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's fine. You're not late. You're just in time as you need to be. And plus, you can always watch over stuff later if you want. It's been a good chat. If you're just tuning in now, welcome, welcome, welcome. We've been talking about, how many things? We've been talking about the wonderful things that folks are doing out in their community for their community, the things to maybe consider that communities might be in need of right now, like donating, everything from donating blood to donating winter weather clothing to communities who might be in need of it. We have someone who's making a community cookbook to raise funds and to draw awareness to issues of homelessness, and to provide a really cool resource for people as they transition into being housed again. We have so many amazing people doing so many amazing things. I've been playing with watercolor, and now I'm painting cookies, because why not? And we've also been talking about meditation practices and things that help ground us and help us, whether we're feeling stirred up or like today when I have some migraine stuff going on, things that we find helpful. So I'm going to, since I forgot water and I don't have a whole lot of time left, I'm going to use some green here. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Just adding some food coloring into some extract, some peppermint extract, which is so nice. That peppermint scent is really helping me today. And let's see what happens when we begin blending those colors. And Prin, what are you working on? I'd love to know. Okay, so Shelley coming back with that Netflix meditation show, Headspace. Is that what it's called? Headspace Guide to Meditation on Netflix. Fantastic, Shelley. Thank you so much. What an excellent resource. And Courtney's back after taking a mini break. And asking, of course we missed you, Courtney. Of course. I'm glad you're back. Let's see, I'll have to add more direct yellow to this to get a more vibrant color, huh? I know there are powdered food pigments you can get out there too, so if you're feeling adventurous and a little bit luxurious, I imagine those have more pigment and are just much more powerful than the liquid or paste ones. Oh, lovely. And speaking of Spotify, Momo saying, happy to share with you one of the playlists Momo listens to while relaxing or working. Brilliant. So again, thanks for sharing these resources, everyone. You never know when, you might need something like that, to have them at your fingertips, to have them handy so that you don't have to reach or search too far. It's a lovely thing. It's so nice. So Momo sharing a beautiful playlist there. And Lisa saying, I like to sit with the cats. Yeah, and watch the squirrels out the window with them. That relaxes me. But I haven't tried any meditation. Well, that, I think, is its own kind of meditation, too. I think, what's a meditation practice other than something we choose to enter into with intention, something that brings a sense of stillness, introduces a sense of stillness that wasn't there before? That's really what it is. Sometimes it happens through active forms, like a walking meditation, dancing meditation. Sometimes it's exactly that, sitting with your cats. And cats, I do think, are excellent meditation teachers. Oh my goodness, it's Anthony Granny sneaking in the side here, bringing me some water for my... Aw.
Did you say you needed water?
I did.
Hi, everybody.
That's like a kind of superhero moment for me. It just appeared in my moment of need. Thank you, Anthony. Oh, I'm very lucky. And if I was in the studio, something like that would have happened exactly. Whenever we're in need of something in the studio, the Art Hive space, usually that's what happens. You say you need something, and in a few moments, someone else has helped and taken care of that for you. With consent. Let's see. So yeah, cat meditations. Cats are excellent guides in meditation practice. Excellent guides. Oh, lovely. And Momo's playlist is from La Convenia de Arte to the Living Room Community Art Studio. Thank you. So Momo sharing a playlist that the Spanish Hive, the Spanish virtual Hive uses in, I think you were saying you listen to music sometimes in the Zoom hives that you do with one another. A lovely thing. And we will be, on that note too, a nice reminder, we will be introducing some new activities next week. So I mentioned that Marta and Danielle will be hosting some Facebook activities, just some, add your voice, type in your comments, your responses, share what you feel moves you. So one will be about art and creativity and finding your artist self, discovering your artist self. Marta will explain all of it on Monday, and Danielle will be hosting something on Thursdays about comfort characters, which is a new thing for me. So I can't wait until Danielle has an opportunity to share that with you. If you have tuned in, if you want to chime in, you can. But yeah, comfort characters. So characters that inspire us, that motivate us, that perhaps fill in the gaps for us and when we're in need of feeling a certain way or embodying something that we don't feel like we can reach for on our own. There are characters in each of our lives that help do that for us. But we'll also be introducing some new evening activities, some live stream and Zoom workshops in the next couple of weeks. Tuesday nights, we're going to be having Zoom workshop live streams through our workshop group page. So if you haven't signed up for the workshop group page on the Living Room, but you'd like to take part in something like that, please do. And we'll have some different hosts hosting that. But to start, it's going to be Caitlin and Kat V, for folks who remember Caitlin and Kat V from the studio. Thursday evenings, we will be having another live stream on the Facebook page in the evening. I think it's 7 p.m. And that will be hosted by different people in the community. So you never know. I think Bridget B. Noonan will be the first person stepping in and hosting the first Thursday of every month. And I think there'll be different themes that come into play, everything from stitching to fiber arts. It's going to be lots of lovely things to do. So we're hoping to introduce lots of new programming and opportunities for people to connect with one another and create with one another. We know that not everyone can gather in the afternoon, so we're hoping to have some of those times for folks. And for folks who are overseas, perhaps we'll introduce some early times to make it a little easier for you to join as well. And Courtney says, your cookies look like the world. I suppose it does. It's beginning to look a little bit like a map or some topography there. And Shelley also, a warm bubble bath, very calming. So again, this feeling of meditation and relaxing. And Anthony, so folks, Anthony, if you're listening, folks are saying hello to you. They're saying hi. We have Laura saying hi, Courtney saying hi, Nicole saying hi, Shelley saying hi. And Anthony is a blessing. He's a blessing to me for sure. I'm super lucky. Oh, that's okay, Courtney. Sometimes typing stuff feels, you don't have to, there's no perfection allowed. There's no perfection allowed. So if you're typing something in and it comes out a little odd, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to judge you. I don't think anyone else is either. Momo, oh, excellent. And Momo saying one of Momo's favorite podcast episodes about slowing down. Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And On Being is, I really do enjoy so much of the stuff they share. There's so much poetry there. There's great podcasts and interviews with artists, creators, people in the wellness community from all sorts of different practices. Excellent. Slowing down. So this is Pico Liar. The urgency of, oh, I can't see the whole title without clicking on it, but I'm going to check that out afterwards. And folks, you're welcome to as well. And Anthony saying, just wanted to make sure Anthony got to eat the cookies after the live stream. So it wasn't a selfless gesture after all. Well, you know what? I still love you. And Courtney's saying too, oh, lovely. Courtney lays on the floor with your roommate's dog and gets loving to meditate. I wonder if that's the dog's name. That would be a great name for a dog. Loving. It would be, wouldn't it? So again, so many different practices. And Prince, interesting. So the question I asked, and I'm slow on the chat today, forgive me, folks. Prince saying, in response to the question about what you're working on, not much, hit a bit of a wall. I'm sorry about that. Sorry to hear that. Sometimes that, I don't know, it doesn't ever feel good to hit a wall or get stuck. But sometimes it's the thing you might need. Well, I can only speak for myself here. The thing you might need, the thing I need sometimes to remind me to slow down, take a breath. I think we expect so much of ourselves to constantly be producing, to constantly be on top of everything. And it's just not going to be that way all the time. Sometimes we need to we need to sit by that wall or stare at that wall to have new things percolate or for other things to settle down and process. It's, I guess, in a seasonal kind of term, it's like, how do farmers describe it? The fields to be fallow? Does that make sense, folks? Am I making that up? The fields just to rest, and we need to give that to our brains sometimes too. I think today was a bit of that day for me. Giving myself some time to rest, to just not. And I suppose you never know too, with those wall moments, maybe eventually after sitting and staring at the wall, you might get excited, might get inspired, you might start painting that wall, or you might see what that wall needs. I don't know, am I getting a little too artsy-fartsy here now? I just know that sometimes getting stuck, as hard as we can be on ourselves, sometimes if we can find a way just to allow ourselves to be stuck, beautiful things emerge from it. Not right away necessarily, but yeah. So if anyone else is out there, if you're feeling stuck, not quite sure what to do, what to create, you might be totally fine with that and enjoying that moment of stillness in your creative life. But if you're not, I'll share what my friend often says to me. Please be kind to my friend. Be gentle with yourself. And trust that it will come back. All that creative energy of getting busy and producing is right there waiting. Just have to get through that other thing first. And let's say, oh, Momo, bye-bye. Momo's saying it's got to run. Great to connect with y'all. Beautiful time. Well, thank you, Momo. Thanks so much. And Courtney, oh, the dog that Courtney cuddles with, her name is Mocha, and she helps me when I'm feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or depressed. Animals are so good at that. And Courtney is chiming in about the stuckness as well. Getting stuck sometimes is a good thing. Yeah. I suppose it's a question of how we allow ourselves. I mean, and maybe this ties into that idea of stillness and meditation too. Kind of finding a peace with that stillness. How do people emerge? How do people emerge from stuck? How do you know when you're not stuck anymore? There's a question. I don't know if I know the answer. Don't know if I know the answer. And Shelley says, I don't know if I can say I'm shy as I was before, maybe just quiet, as I love saying hi to everyone and connecting this way. And Shelley, it's a lovely blessing that you're here in this community. I don't like using the word blessing all the time because sometimes I feel like I'm just, feels a little wonky on my tongue, but I'm truly grateful that you're out there and that you play such a loving role, a caring role in our community live stream, welcoming people and saying hello. It's a beautiful gift you offer, and I'm so grateful that you're out there and you're doing it. Courtney's saying maybe not at the same time, but it's a good thing. Interesting. I think Courtney says, I think it's how you react to your stuckness. Yeah, and that can change any given day, at least for me. I think it's easy to be frustrated. It's easy to feel grumpy with ourselves. And I think sometimes, depending on, the expectations we have of ourselves and our art, especially for folks who are professional artists, I notice that depending on what your modality is, it can present in the professionals in a different way. Because when art is something you do for a living, being stuck can be really terrifying sometimes. I think there's, as creative beings, whether you do it professionally or just for the love of yourself and the love of creating, there's a lot of mixed messages out there in the world about being an artist and the worthiness of being an artist and how valued it is. Of course, it's extraordinarily valuable. It's essential to life and living and moving throughout the world. We all need it. But there's a lot of conflicting messages. And I think that contributes to how hard we are in ourselves sometimes, how distrustful we are of our own process and evolving with our own process. Annie says, must go, but it was so good to see you, Mary, and hang out with everybody. Just what I needed. And I hope everyone feels good about being here. I played with watercolor pens. Oh, excellent. And word stamps. And just a relaxed kind of crazy doodle. I love it. Annie, if you feel like sharing that in our show and tell post afterwards, I'd love to see it too. I'd love to see that process. I'd love to see what resulted. And Carlos saying, welcome, Carlos. Carlos saying 10 minutes left, and I rush in the last minute to check in and say howdy, and loving the piece you're creating, Mary. Oh, thank you, Carlos. It's edible. We can eat it. It's a migraine cookie day. Because why not? Why answer emails? I don't want to answer emails. I want to paint cookies. Maybe I'm indulging my inner child a bit too. I wonder if there's a big part of that. Because I haven't done something like this since... I don't know if I've ever done something like this before. And Courtney's saying, Mary, I need you to take a picture of your cookies, please. You know what? I will, and I'll post it in the show and tell. And I hope I haven't frozen again. If I have frozen, please bear with me and hang in there. And Shelley's saying hi again to everyone. And yes, yes, Shelley is awesome. Everyone's awesome. I think we've got an excellent vibe going on here, and it's all because of the folks who contribute, who visit, who share their art, share their heart, share their words, just contribute to that energy. Because even if you're not participating in the chat, that's okay. Just knowing that others are out there watching, listening, contributing to that energy, such a beautiful thing. Such a beautiful thing. Boop, boop. And let's see, maybe, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll make that some darker green. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. And that peppermint, the peppermint extract is really lovely. Oh my goodness. An unintentional healing thing for me right now. So definitely, if you enjoy baking, if you enjoy cookies, if you've got some extra sugar and flour hanging around and some food coloring, I'd recommend giving this a go. So much fun. And lovely to see people connecting out there. It's so great. And Barb saying, I find growing something from seed helps to get me unstuck. Ooh, yeah, talking about going slow and the slow game, the slow process. Um, I find that really helpful and useful too. It's such a good, it's uh, a good reminder of. It's a good way of growing trust back into our systems, and it is coming up. I mean, in England, it might be happening a little earlier because I know you can things warm up there a little faster than they do here. But it's a good time to start thinking about seeds and the things that you want to plant for the summer, and to what you can start growing inside from seed. And it's lovely. It feels so amazing to grow something from a seed. It does, you do feel like a superhero. You feel extraordinary. It's so empowering. So if there are folks out there who've never grown anything from seed before, I can't recommend it enough. You don't need a whole lot of fancy stuff to do it. And I think a lot of places now, a lot of corner stores, a lot of variety stores, dollar stores even, begin selling seeds and soil and things like that. If you're lucky enough and have a little extra funds, you can also look online to order seeds direct from places right now. Some folks even have seed catalogs. You can spend all your time poring over the seed catalogs and dreaming. And if you're like me, you'll probably plant too much because you don't have enough room on your windowsill for all the things you want to grow, but it's still beautiful and fun and energizing and empowering all the same. And let's see, Mary says, oh yes, can you, Courtney, a reminder about where you're going to post again for your cookbook? In the show and tell post. So after our live stream is done, which should be wrapping up around now, I'm going to go over a little bit. I'm going to post a separate thing on Facebook. It'll just be an ordinary post with a picture of what I've been working on and an invitation for folks to share whatever they're working on. You can also post links. So if there's exciting stuff going on in your community that you're happy about or excited about, it's a great place to post links or promotions. So that would be a great place to include the link to your community cookbook so folks can start emailing you recipes to raise funds to help folks who are transitioning into more secure housing, looking for those opportunities to just find some comfort for themselves, a roof over their head. And the journey is not an easy one. And anyone who's ever experienced what it's like to be insecurely housed can relate to that. And I know I have. So yeah, it's a wonderful cause worth supporting. And Courtney's going to do whatever she can. And that's a lovely thing. Shelley's saying, hi to everyone. Not to worry if you don't feel up to, oh, lovely. Yeah, just a reminder, if you don't feel up to chatting, it's okay. You can still hang out and make art with us. And Carlos saying, the cookie looks like a delicious alternate world map of deliciousness. I totally eat that world in a non-evil consumer of worlds kind of way. Yes, and Anthony is saying Galactus cookies. Oh, the nerds. The nerds are welcome. This is a nerd-friendly space. You are welcome. Welcome here. Uh, all the references. Anthony, you might have to explain that reference, though. I don't know if my nerd extends that far in the current state. And just more. Oh, lovely. Thank you, Shelley. Saying the cookies look amazing. The colors that we use. Well, they're the primary colors. I sometimes forget. It's like going back to the basics sometimes, being reminded of you don't need a lot to create a lot of beautiful stuff. I have friends who went to art school, and there's probably folks out here who've been to art school. I went to theater school, so not a different kind of art. But I know there are classes where they're only allowed to use primary colors. That's blue, yellow, and red. Colors that are the foundation colors. No other colors create those colors. They are just what they are, and they are the basis for many other colors. And they're allowed only to use the primary colors, and maybe white, I think, I'm not sure, in their first year when they're learning how to paint and things like that. So it's another, sometimes it's another good reminder of how to get unstuck too, is like go back to the basics. Whether the basics for you are kindergarten or, where you used to create, what you used to love creating before, it became something else, became too serious. Maybe it's about restricting the tools or the elements you work with, so you're challenging yourself in a new way, which is something like this can do. And you learn that so much can come from just 3 simple colors. There's so much you can do. Oh, yes, and having suggestions for seed catalogs. So Vessie's catalog, Dreams of Spring. Lovely. So I know, wherever you are in the world, there's an opportunity to look for seed catalogs. A lot of places, I think, ship them out for free. And even if you never get to planting, sometimes it's just a beautiful thing to daydream of all the things you could plant if you wanted to. And it all starts somewhere. It all starts somewhere. And you never know. I think I used to look at seed catalogs for years and years before I ever got to planting anything. It all starts with a dream. Dream big, start small. Yeah, dream big, start small. Oh, and Anthony's sharing that link. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the consumer of worlds, not in an evil way, of course not, in a delicious, delightful way. They're here to be eaten. And I think if you're having trouble with, maybe you don't have, I was saying before, you don't have any more space for art on your walls, another good reason to paint cookies. You can eat them. They won't hang around for long. Oh, folks, it's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you today. I'm so, so lucky to have such an extraordinary community to create with, to connect with. Just a reminder again before I wrap stuff up here of the programming we have coming up this next week. New stuff happening on Facebook on Mondays, on Tuesday evenings, on Thursday evenings as well, and we'll be and Thursday during the day and Thursday evenings. And I think we're going to be adding something in on Fridays as well with another fabulous student we have working with us. So just drop on by our page next week and see what's happening. I'll hopefully post a calendar as well to update folks and give you a heads up about what's coming. And Prin saying, definitely looking into planting. Thank you for the goodness. Oh, thank you for the goodness. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone's goodness today. And Barb saying those cookies are amazing, so pretty. Enjoy your beautiful cookies, Anthony. Okay, Anthony's not getting all of these cookies. Let's be clear about that right now, okay? Yeah, no. We'll have to negotiate the cookie thing. We'll do that. Just don't want him to think that he's getting all the cookies. I love him, but boundaries. Gotta have cookie boundaries, right? Right? And Shelley thanking everyone. Oh, lovely, saying, well, not lovely, saying he was feeling blue, but I'm not. Now I'm purple and happy. Not blue, but purple. You know what? That's a good change. I think every little shift we can acknowledge and realize helps us move forward. It may not be shifting from, the place you hope to be, that you ideally want to be, but every little better feeling place we can reach out for and feel and connect with, it all counts. It all counts. And that's a process of just taking one moment at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time. It's all any of us can do. So thank you for being here. I am going to wrap up now. Well, I'm going to continue wrapping up, but I think I'm going to end the live stream just so folks can get back to what they're working on. And I will post a picture of this afterwards. Oh, well, thank you. And again, like lots of thank yous coming in. Thank you, Lisa, for being here. Welcome to the Living Room community. Thank you to everyone who was watching or listening and maybe not participating in the chat. Thank you to everyone who watches after, once it's been archived. I know you're out there and you're just as important as everyone who watches it live. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And you know what? Keep on taking care of yourself. Keep on being kind to yourself. Letting yourself feel what you need to feel, be where you need to be in any given moment, and trust that those better feeling moments will come along. And even though you might be on your own, you don't have to be alone. There's lots of folks out there. So reach out, connect if you need to, and just keep taking care of yourself. And Carlos, as you know what, I love when Carlos chimes in because there's such lovely, lovely things. Let's see what Carlos often wraps up these afternoons in beautiful ways. Carlos says, although I got here a bit late, this has been awesome. Thanks for creating this space and for the cookie goodness. Nom 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 nom. And again, I echo what Carlos is about to say. Have a safe, awesome, and groovy week, folks. Please show yourself the same kindness that you do to others, you magnificent human works of art. Consume world cookies as needed. Yep, I like that. So on that note, thank you again for being here, folks. Take care of yourselves. Check in to see what's coming up next week on the Living Room's Facebook page. And until we can connect and create with one another in person, I look forward to connecting and creating with you right here online. And let's end up on a little show and tell of this piece here. What does it look like close up, folks? Ah, yeah. That's not so bad. That's kind of groovy. Edible cookie art. I think I found my new thing. Huh. Cool. Love to everybody. Stay safe, take care, and connect again soon. Bye.